NHL Fans 365, a hockey podcast where we talk about many different topics from around the league. And here's your host, Boomstick.
By the way, that nod, Steph, was you and the Packers this season because you guys sucked balls in the second round. Yeah, she was like this. Fuck. She was just like, God, I suck at wobbling.
The voice in that intro, is that yours?
No, it's actually, a friend of mine made the introduction a while back, like a couple months back, but I kept the recording to it, which is nice actually. But anyway, so it's gonna be a 4 admin show tonight, but hopefully our 4th guy comes in a little bit, but I'm sure he will. But anyway, what's up guys? Your host Boomstick and the host of NHL Fans 365 as your honcho here. And right now we have 2 admins. Soon it's gonna be 3, but fuck it. So on the left side of our screen we have our Montreal Canadiens admin, hashtag InPriceWeTrust. How you doing?
How's it going, buddy?
You're on mute.
Sorry, I thought you were introducing her first.
Yeah, you're on mute. But I'll go to my Downstairs guy anyway. Anyway, so while she gets that going, we'll ask her again in a few minutes. On the right, we have our newest member of our team, and he is the 2nd Dallas Stars admin. His name is hashtag SkyFullofStars. How you doing?
How's it going, man? Nice quiet night now?
Yeah, right. Peace and quiet. No, nothing too harsh. Nothing too crazy. Just a nice, peaceful night. So let's try this again. Our Montreal Canadiens admin, hashtag InPriceWeTrust.
You're on mute.
Yeah, fuck it. She sent me a message. She said nothing. But yeah. Yeah, so let's continue with the show on the road. We'll get that fixed, I'm sure. Anyway, we have a lot to talk about. Alright. Our Edmonton Oilers guy just told me he's in. Here we go. Bringing in our 4th guy. Starting now. So, here we go. Sorry about the delay. There he is.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what's going on, boss?
Just got off work.
Good, good. You're alive, actually. We're recording, but good thing you just made it, because we're just about to start the topics. But anyway, this is our 4th guy, guys. This is our newest admin of the Edmonton Oilers, hashtag CookingWithOil. How you doing, man?
Doing well, doing well.
That's good. That's very, very good stuff. Glad to have you on the show along with Andrew here. But anyhow, so we're going to have a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about the death of Muhammad Ali, the death of Kimbo Slice, and the death of the late Gordie Howe, which just happened not too long ago, maybe the other day. And then we're going to talk about our thoughts on the Stanley Cup Finals. And then we're going to talk about several rumors that's been going on for quite some time, because it is rumor season, and you might as well just go and be done with it. I mean, I'm sure we have a lot to talk about in terms of the rumors, but let's start off with sending our condolences to the 3 legends that have passed away to us this week, starting with Muhammad Ali. So, Andrew, how do you feel about the death of Muhammad Ali?
Big hit to the boxing community. I mean, he's the legend. Everybody strives to be him boxing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he's not just for the boxing community, but for what's it called? In American history, American sports history. He was an icon in America. He left a huge impact. And I believe, from what I understand, is Muhammad Ali passed away from septic shock. If I said that correctly.
Septic shock, yes.
Septic shock. But I know prior to that, he's been fighting Parkinson's disease for 30+ years.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's unfortunate what happened to him, but you know what? He was very old, and he just couldn't do it anymore. But in the end of the day, Muhammad Ali is going to leave a legacy in all of America, and probably around the world. I mean, he's probably the higher ranking of any professional boxer, ahead of Mike Tyson. So there's a chance there. I mean, Muhammad Ali is considered the greatest boxer of all time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've seen anybody get this big of an attention across the world since Michael Jackson. It's crazy enough that I just said that.
Yeah, because
I
Michael
mean,
Jackson got assload of attention.
because Michael Jackson was a huge deal back then, and now Muhammad Ali, it's even more crazy. 7 years later, it's crazy. And then, what about you, oil guy? What do you think of the death of Muhammad Ali?
And then,
The
yeah, it definitely impacted the boxing world. Great
that,
fighter. I wasn't around to watch him box, but I saw most of his matches. It's just incredible.
oh yeah, definitely, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, though, Muhammad Ali, like I said, he left an impact on the world, and he is an inspiration for young people who watch boxing and want to get into boxing and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he just left an impact on it, and well, how much more can that guy accomplish? I mean, like I said, this is a guy that's gotten most attention since Michael Jackson. So we're talking 7 years ago. But in the end of the day, though, Muhammad Ali is a legend.
Easily.
Definitely. What about you, Steph? I know you're on mute. Yeah, she's on mute. I mean, yeah, she's on mute, guys. I don't know what happened to her. Drop the call, Steph, and then come right back. Watch what and see what happens. Okay, she'll be right back. But though, I mean, what's the most famous fight that he's ever been in? Does anybody know?
Now can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear
Yes.
you. What did you say about Muhammad Ali?
It really hit everybody's heart heavy, and it, Ali is not a legend, not just a sports legend, but a legend to the world.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, I sound like a broken record. He got more attention than anybody since Michael Jackson, but I mean, Bill Clinton was at his funeral. Billy Crystal was at his funeral. I think Mike Tyson actually went. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not a big boxing fan, but I'm sure anybody who doesn't even watch it knows who Muhammad Ali is. I mean, that's how much of an impact he left on. But at the end of the day, he's going to leave a legacy here. And, you know, I send my condolences to him and his family. That's for sure. And moving on to the next death is Kimbo Slice. Like, what did anybody think? How did anybody think of the recent death of Kimbo Slice? And this happened on Monday night due to a heart attack.
I knew he was he needed a heart transplant. He was actually on a waiting list, I do believe, but he could never get a heart.
Really? I didn't know that. I thought it was just from natural causes. I mean, I heard from what I understand that he had a heart attack, but I had no idea that he had to try to get a heart transplant. That's
Nah, I knew he needed a heart.
that's really sad. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. I feel bad for him because he died at such a young age, and he had an 8-5-2 record in the UFC, and he was a street fighter. He was a UFC fighter, and I believe at one point he was a boxer. I'm pretty convinced.
I knew he kind of failed as a UFC fighter because I knew he was more of a street fighter guy. Cause I watched a lot of his YouTube videos, him street fighting, he just knocking dudes out in one punch like it was nothing.
I mean, let's face it. The UFC is technically street fighting, except it's in an octagon.
There's
Yes.
a lot more technique though in the UFC than fighting somebody on the street.
Oh yeah, definitely. And believe me, I have a black belt in martial arts, so there's a lot of moving parts to that. But like you said, that he needed a heart transplant and he was on the waiting list. Like, how long was he on that list? Do you know?
I'm looking at it right now. It just says
I believe it was 6 months.
How much? 6 months? Wow.
I believe it was 6 months.
Wow. I honestly had no idea about that. Because, like I said, I don't watch boxing or UFC, but I certainly know who these guys are. You know, Muhammad Ali, Kimbo Slice, Forrest Griffin. Forrest Griffin, when I was growing up, was my favorite. Chuck the Iceman Liddell was my favorite, too. But,
oh yeah.
yeah, the Iceman was great. I'm not talking about Richard Kuklinski. I'm talking about Chuck Liddell. I mean, that's a whole different story. But I think, though, in the end of the day, like I said, I send my condolences to him and his family, and his children, I believe, are in the UFC as well.
Yes.
Wow. So he must have had his kids when he was in his 20s, at least.
I know a former boxer, and he was very good friends with
Yeah,
Ali.
he had to have had his kids when he was in his 20s because he was 42 when he passed away.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It didn't last long, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of sad.
That's really young.
It really is. I mean, same with Muhammad Ali.
I know a former boxer who was very good friends with Muhammad Ali. It really hit Otis Grant's heart really heavy. I know Otis Grant personally. And he said, I can't believe it. I can't believe a good friend that I had for years passed away.
I mean, I think that's anybody. Anybody would be like that, If my best friend died.
Because Otis Magic Grant used to be a boxer. And he knew Ali.
Wow. I mean,
I watched Otis Grant while I was growing up.
I remember Joe Frazier had a lot of, people come down and see him when his death arrived a couple years ago. And I remember they had the funeral at the Wells Fargo Center when Joe Frazier died. I mean, that was even more crazy. I mean, next thing you know, when Mike Tyson's time is up, which we don't know when exactly that is, but when it does come, everyone's gonna give him everyone's gonna give him all his condolences, send out his prayers and stuff like that. I mean, it's just all due to respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When Mike Tyson goes, it'll be just as big as how Ali goes.
No way. Muhammad Ali is the greatest boxer of all time. Mike Tyson is up there for sure, but I would say Mike Tyson is at least, in the top 5 of all time.
Easily.
Easily. Him and Muhammad Ali are in the same sentence. I mean, nobody can deny that. You don't even have to watch boxing to know that. I mean, like I said, I don't, but I was able to see some clips of both of them. But they're both talented guys, and it took them a lot of training, a lot of time, a lot of focus and commitment and dedication. It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, but then again, it's their job, it's their career, and that's what it matters at the end of the day. That's for sure. That is for sure. So I send my condolences to Kimbo Slice and his family, and hopefully his children carry on his legacy. And that's that. And then I believe the San Jose Sharks are in the So tomorrow in the Stanley Cup Finals for Game 6 I know that before the game starts, I know the Sharks and Penguins are doing a moment of silence for Muhammad Ali, and they're definitely going to do one for Gordie Howe. That's for sure.
I'm sorry for interrupting here, but I want to update something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lake Erie has won the Calder Cup 1-0 in double overtime.
Wait, what did you say?
Lake Erie has won the Calder Cup.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Congratulations, Lake Erie Monsters, on your first championship. It's a hell of an accomplishment. Sweeping the, what was it, the Hershey Bears?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. But, you know what? Good for them, man. But I think the biggest shock, and I think it's important we talk about this, is the passing of Gordie Howe. That's a huge one. I mean, who wants
Me and my wife were actually watching the Detroit Tigers and New York Yankees baseball game last night, and it was in New York, and New York set up in the arena before the game a little moment of silence for Gordie Howe. I thought that was really good of them to do.
I mean, I'm a Mets
Actually,
fan.
sports teams all over the place were sharing stuff about him.
About what, Gordie Howe?
Yeah, Dallas Stars even did a thing for him. New York Yankees, and that's a completely different sport. I just think it's really cool that other sports are honoring him.
Well, yeah, I mean, if there's a team dedicating Detroit, then I don't see why they wouldn't be doing it. I mean, like I mentioned, the San Jose Sharks are going to do it tomorrow. I mean, it's impossible for some teams that are not even playing, like the Buffalo Sabres, the Montreal Canadiens, the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, yeah.
Those are impossible. But then again, and you know what's really interesting? I don't know if any of you saw this, and I'm going to pull it up. Just a few months before his death, on the day of his birthday, we have a picture. Well, I have a picture from NBC, right? And there's a picture of Gordie Howe with Jack Eichel. I'm actually going to show you. Here it is. Check this out. This is a picture that was taken on his birthday just a few months ago.
Wow.
It really is. And, I mean, I'm happy for Jack that he at least got to meet him beforehand. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I have a sports store near my house, which is probably like 15 minutes away. It's called Steiner's. And it's owned by a billionaire sports memorabilia collector. And I think he has a couple stores on Long Island. And he actually, at one point, at 87, before, like I said, a year before he died, Gordie Howe was actually at one of the stores, and he was signing autographs for $300. It was that crazy. And the biggest regret is I never got a chance to meet him. That's my biggest regret.
I would have liked to meet the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Cause,
I mean,
he's a monster on the ice, but then he's a really nice guy off the ice, and does everything he could for his community. And
that's for sure. That is for sure. And you know what?
I remember watching him a few years ago in the Winter Classic when the Red Wings held it.
With Gordie Howe?
Yeah, he played in the alumni game a couple years ago.
Oh, how sweet of him. I remember I think him and Johnny Bower were there, if I recall. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Johnny Bower is still alive. Actually, he is. Johnny Bower is 91 years old, and I was checking up on him the other day to see if he was still alive, and apparently he's healthy. And, God bless him. But, even though you may not like the Detroit Red Wings, you may not appreciate what they do, but in the end of the day, all hockey fans, true hockey fans, would appreciate the art of the idea and the identity and what he's done for the game. I mean, he's done so much shit for the last, 25, 30 years. He's been in the NHL, and he's become a bigger role model off the ice.
I appreciate everything about the Red Wings. My wife's a Red Wings fan, you know that.
Obviously.
I actually watched more Red Wings hockey this year than she did.
Wow.
She just said, "Oh, bullshit."
I don't blame her. Because the Red Wings were pretty, crappy in the second half of the season. I mean,
they made it by the skin of their teeth.
They did.
Keep that streak alive.
I mean, I guarantee you next year it's going to end. But I think at the end of the day, you may not have to like the Red Wings, but I think at the end of the day, like I said, true hockey fans, like all of us here, would say, Gordie Howe is an icon and he's one of the greatest of all time. I mean, it's kind of get off track here, but it's kind of like saying that if you are an NFL fan, you may not like the 49ers, but you would appreciate what Joe Montana did.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, same thing with the Dallas Cowboys. If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, or if you don't like them, you have to respect the legacy that Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman brought in. That's how we all feel. I mean, I dislike the Cowboys, but at the end of the day, I respect what Troy Aikman does. In all fairness.
I'm a Cowboys fan. I can't speak on that. I'm biased.
I know, and I'm a shitty Bills fan, I know.
And Steph knows Des caught it.
I despise the Cowboys, thank you.
You're not a football guy, Jordan?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge Packer fan, but
Wait, who do you
the one guy I enjoy watching on the Dallas Cowboys is actually Romo. He has a team around him, he could do some huge damage.
Tony Romo.
Thank you. Somebody knows he's good.
I hate Tony Romo.
It's the line that makes him bad.
Well, that's the management's fault.
Oh, yeah, but we're a little off topic now, but let's get back on.
Yeah, but anyway.
Anyways, back to Gordie Howe.
So, the late Gordie Howe. So, he's won 4 Stanley Cups. He's second in all time with 801 goals, right behind Wayne Gretzky. And you know what? In the end of the day,
Four Stanley Cups in 6 years. That's insane.
Oh, yeah. Just like the Edmonton Oilers with their 4 first overall picks in 6 years.
Yeah.
I had to.
Something to be proud of.
Just reminding me of that.
We're gonna end our rebuild next year.
Yep, when you trade Nuge and Everly and McDavid next year.
Dallas will see you next year.
We'll have to see. But in regards, does anybody want to say anything about Gordie Howe?
Well, my condolences go to all the sports legends that passed away this year, to their families and friends, and so on.
I hear you.
But me as a general hockey fan, Gordie Howe played the game like no other player could. With Gordie Howe also played with no curve on his stick, won 4 cups, sorry if I'm repeating myself here,
And I do believe he played in the All-Star game every year of his career.
And
did the best, and like no other player can. And he also played with his sons, which meant a lot to him. That's why House extended his career.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being a dad playing professional hockey alongside my sons or semi-pro hockey. That's insane.
yeah, right. I mean, if I wanted to be with, the Girl Scouts with my daughters, which I don't have any kids, but if I had 3 girls or 2 girls or whatever number I have, if I have any girls, if I get any daughters, but if I wanted to do something for them, that would mean a lot to me, because what would make them happy is what would make me very happy. That would be as a father. Like I said, I have no kids, but I would just show my prime example. But Gordie, though, the thing about Gordie was he wasn't ever considered the second among guys. He wasn't just called Gordie Howe. He was always called Mr. Hockey.
Yes.
That's the
Actually, they made a movie about him. Don't we have it on Blu-ray, Mr. Hockey?
I think so. I know
they made a movie about him. We bought it on Blu-ray a few years ago. It's a really good-ass movie. And it even shows, like, his whole career progression and him playing with his kids at the end of his career. It's an awesome movie. Recommend. Highly watch it.
Yeah, I also have the similar movie about Maurice the Rocket Richard.
I've watched that.
In fact, if I can get it over my snake's cage, which I doubt I will, but I have the Rocket on my
I'm
shelf.
going to go to the boys' room real quick.
Wait, what?
Said I'm going to the boys' room real quick.
Yeah, you do that. So, anyway, while he's gone, what about you, Jordan? Do you have any thoughts about the passing of Gordie Howe?
As much as he impacted the hockey game, he's done a lot and all that, but I haven't focused much on more of the older games, but I did watch. He was pretty great, amazing.
That is for sure. And you know what? In the end of the day, if you were asked from all of you, and I know Andrew's gonna give us an answer when he comes back, is if you were asked, what would you say that would be based upon Gordie's legacy? Like, would there be something to add upon before we say his final goodbyes?
Thanks for making hockey how it is.
Yep. What about you, Steph?
My Mr. Hockey Gordie Howe. The whole reason why I play is because my dad passed me the torch. If you know the saying, pass the torch. My dad passed the torch down to me, and I also play for the hockey greats who are still alive and who passed. And the sport of hockey actually means a lot to me.
I mean, Gordie Howe left a big impact for my dad's generation, but he passed it up to me. It's remarkable. It really is. But Andrew, do you have any last thoughts about Gordie Howe?
I just got back. Perfect timing.
Yep. Do you have any final thoughts about Gordy?
Great guy. There's really nothing else to say.
Yep. So, once again, Gordy, thank you for the memories. And just before, when I was on the shelf before, I brought out 3 candles. They look like this. And I'm going to light each one out for the rest of the show. Just show my respect. So, one for Muhammad Ali. Right? One for Muhammad Ali. One for Kimbo Slice. And then last but not least, one for Gordie Howe.
Awesome.
There you go. And those are going to be on for the rest of the show. So now, let's move on to the next topic. Next topic is, what do you guys think of the Stanley Cup Finals so far?
Stanley Cup. San Jose and Pitt are 2 good teams, but Pitt has the lead right now by only 1 game. So if San Jose wins at home, there will be a Game 7. If Pittsburgh wins, they will win their 4th cup on the road like they did with their last 3.
That is true.
So I'm kind of pulling for Pittsburgh right now just because I'd like to see them win it at home.
I'm pulling for San Jose because San Jose is the only Cali team without a Stanley Cup at this point.
Definitely. What about you, Jordan? Who do you got?
I'm pulling for the San Jose Sharks myself. I want to see Jumbo Joe lift the cup up for the first time.
I don't blame him. And for me, I have San Jose coming back to even the series. I think they're going to win it all by Wednesday. You know, they're going to even the series in San Jose tomorrow.
San Jose winning it all.
Yeah, I think they will. Because if they play like what they did in Game 5, I mean, it wasn't the best performance, but they were certainly playing on top of the game. I mean, Martin Jones is what kept them in there. And if Martin Jones played like he did in Games 3 and 5, you know, or in the earlier games, even though they
made
lost,
a statement that first period.
As much as I want to see the Sharks lift it, I say they will win in the Shark Tank, but they'll lose in overtime to a Sidney Crosby overtime goal in Game 7.
well,
Pull off the golden goal for the cup.
I don't know about that, because honestly, Crosby has never scored a playoff goal in the overtime period, except till this point of his career. In the playoffs, in the conference finals, I think it was against Tampa Bay, or was it against Washington?
Tampa.
It was Tampa? I thought it was Washington for some reason. But, yeah, we all get the idea here. But I think the only advantage at this point Pittsburgh has are 2 things. Their offense is amazing, and they have a ton of speed. They're the fastest skating team in the NHL, as far as I'm concerned. But they also have one of the weakest cores on defense in the playoffs. And that's why I said, if you remember, Steph, I said in the beginning of the finals that San Jose has the better defense.
Yes.
And we all agreed that Pittsburgh has the better offense.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I thought...
You know what they say, though? Defense wins championships.
That is correct. But that's more of a football term. I mean, yeah, it could be brought into hockey, but that's more of a challenge because we all know that hockey is a team sport, not an individual sport. See, that's why
check out the last 6 years with the Hawks, the Kings. They had top tier defensemen. Go all the way back to when the Bruins they got the best defensive core then.
Fuck the Bruins, by the way.
Fuck Boston. Fuck the Boston Bruins.
See, Steph and I kill each other all the time, but that's one thing we can all agree on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And fuck the Leafs also.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can see why you were talking.
And same with the Sens.
Okay, fair enough. I can see the sense. Fair enough. But
Are we just saying fuck all Canada teams right now?
No. Just the ones that, you know.
Just the ones in me and Bobby's division, that's all.
You know, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal.
All of them.
No, I don't. I have respect for the Western Conference teams. The only team I'm not looking forward to, and hear me out on this one.
Aren't you like an hour drive from Canada?
No. I was gonna say, I mean, hear me out on this one. I don't hate them, but I hate their fans, especially at this point of this decade. Are Edmonton Oilers fans, because they've been quiet for 10 years, and then when they got McDavid, they just all of a sudden came out of the rabbit hole.
I hate Toronto fans, and you should probably already know why I hate Toronto fans.
I was always out in the open for my Oilers.
What?
Always.
I mean, you should always be supportive of your team.
10 long effing years.
I mean, don't feel bad about me. I mean, I'm a Bills fan. They went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row and lost. So, what else is there? But you know what? At least, when Edmonton went to the finals that 1 year, they at least made it. Props to them.
They were the second Canadian team out of 3 seasons to make it to the finals.
Yep. I think the last team was Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver.
Yeah. 4 teams, actually. Can't forget about Ottawa Senators against the Ducks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about Ottawa. Maybe it's because
I forgot about the Vancouver one.
I said Vancouver.
I forgot about him.
I forgot about Ottawa for some reason. But the ultimate question, though, is, do you guys think that San Jose can pull it off, or do you think Pittsburgh's going to win in the end of the day?
Pittsburgh's going to win.
Pittsburgh's going to win.
It's just a matter of tomorrow or the next couple nights. When is it going to happen?
I basically think it's just a coin toss. May the best team win.
I hope it happens in Game 7 so they can win it at home, because if you saw in Game 5 when they could have won it, there were so many people outside the arena showing the support and everything. I really wanted to see it happen.
That's why I'm not a fan. You know, I think it's kind of, just to get off topic for a bit, I find it hypocritical. If you remember in the conference finals, in the Tampa-Pittsburgh game, the Lightning fans were not allowed to watch Game 7 at that big-ass screen because they were losing TV ratings, and that had all the Bolts fans sit at their house to watch the games. And meanwhile, everybody went outside to watch the Penguins hoist the cup, if they did win, in Game 5 outside, in that one big-ass TV.
I'm pretty sure they're going to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, they're going to. They're going to be outside there, even though they're not there. They'll be there. That's
true. And then Gary Bettman's going to come out bitching, oh, you know, we don't have enough TV ratings because everyone's using their one TV. It's like, come on, seriously?
Hockey doesn't have very high ratings to begin with.
But he wants to make them that, though.
Yeah.
I feel like Gary Bettman's lost common sense. I mean, he's already talking about the TV ratings, and then he says that the Carolina Hurricanes are not moving, which is a load of baloney because there's a chance of them moving.
Bring the Hurricanes to Quebec City.
My dad actually just showed me a news article of a rumor of an expansion in L.A.
L.A.?
Huh?
I mean, Vegas, my bad, Vegas.
I was about to say, where'd you get that from?
Vegas. I forgot L.A. Kings. Vegas. He showed rumors of an expansion.
Well, yeah, that's already confirmed. Vegas is already getting a team. One thing I heard was Vegas made the expansion actually might be on hold due to the Hurricanes problem, because they're saying that if the Hurricanes don't solve the $300 million that Peter Carmonos owns from his sons, because he owes them each $100 million, and he can't even make up his own profit because he used half his son's salary to pay up the taxes for the Hurricanes, because every team by league law has to pay taxes, just how like all of us as U.S. citizens have to pay taxes every day.
You make
or
money,
every year.
Pay.
We have to. That's the same thing with the NHL owners. They have to pay Gary Bettman the salary for their teams. That's just how it works. That's the law. But Peter Carmonos, unfortunately, had to borrow money from his sons, and he never paid them back. And now he's going to have to pay twice as more, and that's why the Hurricanes are in jeopardy, because of irresponsibility. And here's the worst part. The Hurricanes are up for sale. That's even worse.
Hell, I'd buy him if I won the lottery.
Yeah, right?
At the end of the day, the Hurricanes will be moving, and they'll be moving to Quebec City no matter how much Bettman says no.
Yeah. I've heard that they might move to Las Vegas.
I would actually like to see a team in Seattle. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting, but it's not going to happen. Vegas is already confirmed, and then probably another couple of years, we're going to see Quebec City. Quebec City won't probably be in the league till like 2018 or 2019 or whatever the number is. So we're going to see a team down the line with Quebec City. We're going to see a team down there. That's for sure. But the question is, do you guys think the Carolina Hurricanes stay where they are, or do you think they relocate?
Relocate.
Easily
Yeah.
relocate.
I don't think they have big enough fan support to stay where they're at.
I don't think so. I remember they did this a few times with the Florida Panthers, and I know they. Why doesn't Gary? I don't understand thing. Why does Gary Bettman put teams in non-valuable markets? Like, think about it: Arizona, Carolina, Las Vegas.
I think that's why Dallas moved from Minnesota, because they didn't have a big enough fan base, so they went to Dallas, and now they got a huge fan base.
Yep, and then now they have an expansion team in Minnesota, and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be fair about one thing, is that at least Minnesota got their team. I mean, the Winnipeg Jets got very lucky. They dodged the bullet, because the Atlanta Thrashers, if they weren't so shitty... Oh, Atlanta, that's another team. Does anybody remember them?
Atlanta Thrashers, yeah.
I do.
Yep.
I got a guy I used to work with, I still work with him, but he always talks about Atlanta Thrashers all the time.
And do you guys think, just a fantasy question, do you think the Atlanta Thrashers should come back?
No.
No.
No. I mean, failed once. And
They failed twice.
They
Why
failed
try to bring it back?
twice.
yeah, you're right. The Atlanta Flames and then the Atlanta Thrashers. Because the Flames moved from Atlanta to Calgary and then from Atlanta to Winnipeg. That's funny because it leads up to Canadian teams. Next thing you know, Arizona may move, which I know our Yotes admin said that they're not going to move. And then the Florida Panthers have until 2021 to make up the money. I mean, I think it's a good time for them now because they can actually get money and they can actually be a winning team and keep the team in Florida. And they just changed the logo, so I think things could be a bit better.
Have you already talked about that logo? Because I think that logo looks awesome.
I don't think we talked about it yet, but I might as well just bring it up again, in case for those of you who haven't. Apparently, the Florida Panthers have a new logo, and I think it's pretty unique. It's very different from the other teams' logos. I mean, it's not like the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs is that boring, bland new leaf. So
somebody told me the Florida Panthers' new uniforms kind of look like they're a soccer team.
Oh, it usually looks like a soccer team.
I agree with that.
Agree with what?
It's nice, though. It's a nice change for a hockey jersey.
Of what Andrew said.
Check this out. For those of you who haven't seen it yet.
I think that looks amazing.
The Panthers, the stripe in the middle, they kind of stole it from my Habs.
Yeah, because your Habs need to go to rehab, and the Panthers can actually take it a little bit more seriously.
You fuck off, man.
Oh, come on. You'll be fine. Anyway, so, I think the Panthers' new jerseys are different, but it's nice, it's okay, but I don't know if it's not perfect, but I think it definitely stands out better than that stupid Panther prowl that's been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
That it definitely gives them a newer, angrier, and I know they said this a little while back about the San Jose Sharks, is that if you remember the original Sharks logo, it was just kind of a plain, shark with a triangle. And then they made the redesign, the remake, they gave it a new look. They went with the teal and the orange, obviously, and that was a little bit more taken a little bit more seriously. They were a much angrier look to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think it's interesting, and I definitely heard one thing, and I don't know if it's true or not. Over the winter, I heard the Vancouver Canucks are getting a new logo.
I haven't seen or heard anything about that.
I did. It was on the hockey news not too long ago, actually. I mean, if they were showing actual articles about that, then I would have probably brought it up a while back. But I heard this in like February when when the Leafs were getting their new logo. They were saying that the Vancouver Canucks were on that list. I definitely heard Florida. Definitely heard, of course, Toronto. But Vancouver was like the question mark. They were saying that they were going to try to go with the Johnny Canuck look and then go with a different color scheme and a different jersey design and stuff like that. Just to go with a more like Carolina Hurricanes look.
Yeah. mm, Speaking of Vancouver, they changed their logo like I forgot how many times until their most recent one.
What, that stupid,
Their most ugliest jersey was the V. If you
yes.
remember those ones
Yeah, I've seen pictures
with
of
the
those.
black, the red, the yellow.
Yeah.
I hate those jerseys, and they're ugly as fuck.
Well, they hate you too.
Like I don't mind. I like Vancouver's jerseys now.
I don't.
The damn why change the logo if every Canucks fan likes them?
Why is the Canucks logo a fucking whale? A Canuck is another term for a Canadian. Why are you naming your fan base after fucking whales? It has nothing to do with the originality for them. Unless they have some sort of explanation. I mean, who knows? But yeah, let's make this a little bit more interesting while we're talking about the Vancouver Canucks. And speaking of the Vancouver Canucks, while we're on top of it, there's a rumor going around saying the most likely destination for Louis Eriksson would be the Vancouver Canucks, and he's willing to go down there for an estimate $27 million for 6 years when free agency hits the time frame.
27 million for 6 years.
27 million for 6 years with Louis Eriksson to the Vancouver Canucks.
I forgot how low they get paid compared to other sports.
Who knows? All I know is that Vancouver wants.
No, he was in Dallas. We gave him to Boston, and now he's a free agent, right?
Yeah, he's a UFA. I know the Devils are interested and the Islanders are interested. But in the end of the day, I think the Vancouver Canucks are going to put their most money down on Louis Eriksson. And it just makes sense, too.
Just imagine that line. The Sedins and Louis Eriksson.
Yeah, I know Eriksson can put pucks in net, so.
That's true. And they were also, just last week, they were talking about Troy Brouwer going to the Vancouver Canucks because he's from Vancouver.
Going back home, that'd be nice for him.
And another player was mentioned to go to Vancouver, but I think he's going to go to Edmonton at the end of the day. And I think Jordan knows exactly who I'm talking about.
Easily. Edmonton's willing to pay him $6.5 million for a year for Lucic.
Yeah.
He's just getting into his prime right now, so it'll be brilliant.
Who, Milan Lucic?
Easily.
He's a UFA also?
Yes, he is. And the Kings tried to offer him $6.6 million for 5 seasons.
That's why they're going to trade off either Nuge or Eberle to free up some salary for him.
Yep.
Giving Lucic $6.6 million for 5 years?
Apparently, that's what he
wants
wants.
6
but
years.
No.
Yeah, but the Kings want to give him.
He's 28 though. Got to think about that. He's entering his prime right now.
He's got another 10, 15 years left in him.
No, I'd say Milan Lucic has a good 9 years in him. I think Lucic is gonna retire young at maybe like 36, and then he'd be done with it, and then just walk away from the game with that big ass contract that he gets, depending what the Kings pay for him. If not, then he'll either go to Edmonton or Vancouver. In the end of the day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what I also heard, sorry to go off topic, I heard about David Backes sold his home in St. Louis and will not return to the Blues next year.
Yes, I heard that.
Huge.
David Backes. What?
Yes. And here's a real good kick in the balls. I said this in the group chat earlier. I don't know if you and Jordan saw this, but I said this earlier, and I think Steph caught this. And they're saying that if the Toronto Maple Leafs don't get Steven Stamkos, scenarially, David Backes would likely go to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's the Maple Leafs fallback plan.
My God, what is wrong with them? I mean, I know the Sharks want David Backes. I know the Islanders want David Backes. I mean, everybody's going to want David Backes. But the problem is he's 32, and he wants to be on a cup-contending team. So who does he go to?
I feel like Toronto's going to be set up pretty soon because they got Mike Babcock from the Red Wings last year, the coach, and he's an excellent coach. I mean, he used to be the coach of the Red Wings.
But the question is, does it make sense for Toronto to have 2 superstars at center? Then you would have Austin Matthews, then you would have Steven Stamkos, and then you have Nazem Kadri. who they, by the way, just paid 6 years, $27 million to.
Two superstars at center.
I mean, it's not worth it.
That's just like the Oilers situation right now. They got
What?
Draisaitl, they got McDavid. Do they really want to pay $6 million for Nugent Hopkins to be a third line centerman? I doubt it.
But here's a better question: do the Leafs want to pay $10 to $11 million to Steven Stamkos, even though he's the biggest hot commodity in the market?
That's just absolutely insane how much he wants for it.
Why the ass would he want that? I mean,
Stamkos is just coming off of surgery too, isn't he?
no, he actually played in Game 7. He had a blood clot. Then he had to get
Okay.
surgery, and he was supposed to be out for the rest of the playoffs. But then in the last second, he just came in and played in Game 7. Didn't play a full game, but he was able to come back because he didn't want to take the risk of, taking the blood clot. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
That affect his play at all?
Absolutely.
But it will be bad news for the Blues to lose their captain. Then they
Yeah, I
will
think-
have to give the seat to somebody else.
I think Backus needs to stay with the Blues.
Well, there's no
But the
chance.
thing is, Backus sold his home in St. Louis. He wants to leave St. Louis and he is a free agent.
Well, that's not very good.
He could go to anybody who needs help at center.
Anybody could take David Backus. He can go to the Islanders for all we know. He can go to New Jersey for all we know. He can go to the Leafs for all
Or
we know.
Montreal, or Boston, or whoever.
The ultimate decision in the end of the day goes to David Backus. And
Yes. It goes to him and his agent.
I have heard the Blues are interested in Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, but at the same time, the Buffalo Sabres were also involved for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
I heard
Minnesota Wild.
Montreal was also involved for Nuge.
Yeah, there's many teams. Minnesota, Montreal.
And
Blues.
Yakupov.
Oh yeah, Yakupov's gonna land be on the same line as Chucky next year.
At the end of the day, I think we can all agree that Nugent-Hopkins is likely going to be dealt. And they're saying that Buffalo, and I'm going to read this tweet to you too, is apparently there's a source saying that Edmonton and Buffalo are discussing a trade no matter what the circumstances are. And from what I understand, and I told this to Jordan too, is they say that they may throw in Tyler Ennis and Zemgus Girgensons, Mark Pezic, and maybe the 8th overall pick, along with one of the 4 third-round picks they have in this draft, and then send that to Edmonton for Taylor Hall, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, maybe another defenseman, because Buffalo does need a lefty, so Griffin Reinhart or Oscar Klefbom would be the better options for that. And then Edmonton would give up the 4th overall pick. And then if that's the case, then Buffalo's going to likely take Alexander Nylander.
I believe it'll be Eberle that's going instead of or Taylor Hall.
You think Taylor Hall's going to stay, or?
I say Taylor Hall will stay in the Oilers jersey going into next year.
It's only a matter of time before we all figure this out. There's been some interesting stuff from the last, couple days. And another rumor I heard, and our Jets guy posted this the other day, they were saying that there's a potential trade that could happen between Winnipeg and Colorado. And he said that, according to Darren Drager of TSN, he said a straight 1-for-1, kind of like the Jones and Johansson trade back in January, could happen similar here with Jacob Trouba going to Colorado, and then you would have Matt Duchene going to Winnipeg. What do you guys think?
Living in Winnipeg, being the Oiler fan, Winnipeg will easily win that trade.
And then on top of that, you have Patrick Laine. Holy crap. So you would have Matt Duchene and Patrick Laine, and then you have Dustin Byfuglien. Then holy fuck. I didn't even think about this.
Add in Matt Duchene. Winnipeg next year will be a cup contender, definitely.
I mean, and not too long ago, I think it was 3 weeks ago, they were saying that Ovi could be traded to Winnipeg for the second overall pick.
Talk about Ovechkin?
Yeah, they were saying a while back. I can actually pull it up if you would like me to. I just saw it not too long ago, and it said that Alex Ovechkin could be traded to Winnipeg for. Here it is. Here we go.
I got a friend that would cry if Alex Ovechkin got traded because he's
Yeah.
a huge Capitals fan.
Yep, and then this would be a massive trade. Ready? It says that according to ESPN, they're saying that if the Capitals do decide to move on from Alexander Ovechkin, they would have to trade him to the Winnipeg Jets, considering they have the most cap for him. And going the other way, they would have to give up Kyle Connor and the second overall pick. I mean, that is a monster.
That is a huge trade.
Apparently, they
Taking the
That's
top goal scorer from this season, and I don't know why Washington would give him up.
because Washington is getting tired of waiting for results. So your best chances are to get what you can get for him, get a lot in return. They're not going to just do 2 people and then be done with it. You know what I mean? And speaking of overall picks,
I mean, Washington's offense is there. Ovechkin is a huge part of their offense.
I mean, let's face it, he is the Washington Capitals.
So they would give him up to go back to what? More nothingness?
Yep. And and here's a real bigger kick in the balls. I don't know if any of you heard this either. Steph, did you hear about the Arizona Coyotes?
I think so, but I don't remember.
Did you hear about it, Andrew?
Nothing about Arizona.
What about you, Jordan? Jordan?
I heard a lot of stuff on Arizona, but I'm not sure which one you're going to talk about.
Well, apparently the one I'm talking about, they're saying that multiple reports are coming out saying the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Arizona Coyotes are discussing a trade. And
Oh, that one, yes.
Yep, and this
The
is
one where Arizona is willing to give up Max Domi and two first round picks for Toronto's first overall.
Yep, apparently they're saying they can either give up Max Domi or Christian Dvorak, and along with that, 2 first rounders, which would be picks number 7 and somewhere in the mid-teens. That pick would go to the Toronto Maple Leafs for Austin Matthews. That would be the dumbest decision the Leafs would ever make. I hate them with the passion, but
I disagree there.
Why?
Because the dumbest one they did was trade off get Kessel for their first overall or second overall that back in 2011.
I don't think that's the dumbest either.
Come on, Tyler Seguin, look at where he's at.
Yeah, I
now.
know. Boston giving Tyler Seguin to Dallas, that, in my eyes, that's the dumbest trade I've seen in a while.
No, the dumbest trade I've seen in a while was Colorado giving up Ryan O'Reilly to Buffalo for 2 bums, which was Grigorenko and Zadorov. That was a dumb trade. And then Buffalo won that trade easily because Ryan O'Reilly was a first-time All-Star this year. So that certainly helped them out. But while we're on the topic of the Coyotes, there was also a report saying that they were interested in taking on the contract of Pavel Datsyuk, and if they do decide to make this trade, they would either get Tomas Jurko or Tomas Tatar in that trade. So that would certainly help. And then on top of that, there was also reports that...
Wait, you're saying the Coyotes would get Datsyuk, Tatar, and
Yeah.
what was the other?
They would either get Tatar or Jurko in Pavel Datsyuk's remaining contract, because Pavel Datsyuk at this point is likely going back to Russia.
Yeah,
to be with
I
his
don't think
family.
he's coming back at all.
He's definitely not. So that's why the Yotes want to pick it up. I mean, they already have Chris Proger's contract, and if they want to go for part 2 for Pavel Datsyuk, be my guest. And then on top of that, here's a really interesting part. They're saying that if Pavel Datsyuk's contract is moved to Arizona scenarially, Columbus could actually take that contract because the Yotes want the 3rd overall pick.
I think Tatar would be a good pickup in Coyotes.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, let's face it. I mean, at this point, the Yotes, they're in the right direction. But if I were the Yotes, I'd give up Christian Dvorak in the Austin Matthews rumors. I would certainly do it in a heartbeat. I mean, because Max Domi, to me, is much faster in terms of skating, and he's a better shooter. And I just think Dvorak wouldn't be the guy that the Yotes would want to take a chance on. And there's also one more piece of evidence about the Yotes, by the way. I don't mean to talk about them much longer, but I figure it's because there's been a lot of topics about them recently. And they're saying that while they're negotiating a contract, they're saying that Martin Hansel gave the Yotes a list of teams he wishes to go to. So he's pretty much waiving his no-trade clause, and he's requesting a trade, and he's carrying a $1.7 million cap going into next year because Martin Hansel is a UFA next year, and the Yotes are trying to get rid of that deal as soon as possible. What do you guys think? Just thinking about this was just crazy enough. It's almost as bad as what the Devils did the other day. The Devils were pretty nuts about trading for Mark Savard's contract. But I think, though, in the end of the day, when you look at the big picture, New Jersey actually got a pretty nice deal. They got rid of 2 prospects, which were never going to be part of their system, to Florida for Mark Savard's contract and a 2018 second-round pick. So I think the big thing here is that second-round pick New Jersey acquired. So I think this will help them, and I think they're going to use it as an asset. They're going to flip the pick to another team and get a superstar with it. And then, let me see, what else has happened? Does anybody have any rumors they want to share?
I told you earlier with Dallas, I saw something about Jim Neal saying he's not going to do anything with his goaltending, and I really think he should. Kari Lehtinen or Niemi, one of them needs to go. Not both of them, just one of them.
I think Niemi is likely the one out because, let's face it, Lehtinen could actually play consistently, and Niemi's like ancient.
Lehtinen cannot play consistently. I don't feel like he can.
Apparently,
he has his really, really good games and then his really, really bad games. It's like saying Tony Romo's a great quarterback. I mean, he's a great quarterback, but he has really, really good games or really, really bad games. There is no in between.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I've heard a while back, before you came on here, I think you were on with us at the time, but I don't know if you remember, I think Shannon, a.k.a. Would You Like Some Spaz, actually posted something about the Dallas Stars going after Jimmy Howard.
Oh my God. I would love to pick him up.
Why? He sucks.
Jimmy Howard needs to retire.
I agree on retiring. His best days are past him.
Not his stats. I don't want to pick him up for his stats. I just want to pick him up because my wife's a huge Wings fan.
I mean, better than nothing.
She doesn't even know what I'm talking about, and I just said that. She knows I'm talking about Jimmy Howard.
Wait, she just heard you just now?
Yeah, I just said I would love to pick him up because my wife's a Wings fan. She goes, no.
Why don't you just... Well, what about the other one? And I know the Rangers made this statement a while ago.
Oh, Lundqvist.
Yes. But I did hear recently that because the Dallas Stars are having trouble on defense, I have heard that the Dallas Stars are interested in Ryan McDonough.
That would be a huge pickup. Huge.
Yeah, right? That would be huge. And the Rangers are pretty much getting rid of everybody. And here's another kick in the balls. While we're talking about the New York Rangers, I got a tweet today saying that the Winnipeg Jets, Ottawa Senators, and the Buffalo Sabres, and I think the Arizona Coyotes, were all linked to be in negotiations with the New York Rangers about Chris Kreider.
Kreider it's a piece of shit.
Says a Montreal fan.
Oh.
I hate
fired.
Chris Kreider. He injured my Price, and Price wants to get fucking revenge on him.
I would love to have Chris Kreider on the Oilers. I would love it. Just let him go crazy on the goaltenders in the West.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the goalie market is crazy this year. But then again, you never know what the price would be for these guys. So I think, though, the whole offseason is going to be crazy. And just recently, I just got this notification not too long ago, and they're saying that Scott Hartnell has waived his no-trade clause, and he is asking for a trade out of Columbus. But the question is, there were no teams mentioned in his requests. But the question is, where do you guys see Scott Hartnell going?
Back to Philly.
Back to Philly?
I could see him going back to Philly,
Yeah.
but I say he might go to. I don't know. I'm just going on a wild guess. I'm going to say probably Nashville, Dallas. Who knows?
I could say Nashville. But what about you, Andrew? What do you think about Scott Hartnell?
I can go back to Philly.
Philly? For me, if there's one team I think that would love to take him, and I'm just going to say this because I don't know enough about their salary cap issue, but I'm just going to say it anyway. For me, San Jose. I'm going to say San Jose. And I'll tell you why.
Hartnell down in San Jose?
Yeah, I genuinely think that San Jose is going to take his contract. Because let's think about this for a second. San Jose can't keep everybody. But depending who's a free agent, I don't know exactly. I haven't really looked it up yet for who is on their roster that's a UFA. But I can tell you for a fact that Joel Ward's not going anywhere and Paul Martin's not going anywhere, and neither is Martin Jones. But I can tell you for a fact is that their depth is not the strongest. But keep in mind, Nick Spaulding is leaving, and so is Roman Polak. So this gives the Preds, I mean not the Preds, it gives the Sharks. I said Sharks. I corrected myself. Thank you very much, fucking teacher. What I was gonna say is that if they get rid of the contracts of Spaulding and Polak, they could easily, and James Reimer, it easily get the contract that Scott Hartnell possesses right now. They can give up easily. They can give up maybe 2 picks for Scott Hartnell and then take on his contract and then re-sign him the following year when he hits the market. That's what I think. Plus, it gives them a little bit more of an offensive chance because think about it. Scott Hartnell scored 20-plus goals this
Bobby,
year.
sorry to interrupt you. Can I just bring up something?
Damn.
Andrew Gatto re-signed with my Canadiens for a season.
That's the big interruption.
Damn.
Yes, but can we just talk about it for a minute?
Yes, and I like waffles.
I like waffles too.
Who doesn't like waffles? Anyway, Steph, so go ahead. What were you going to say?
Jordan?
Well, we're waiting on you, Steph. You said something about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much his contract is. I will have to look it up. But Andrew Gatto, since he had a very good season with Montreal, even though we didn't make the playoffs, since we didn't have Price, I think he will be like a 20-goal scorer or a 40-goal scorer in the future. That's how I see it.
Not with Montreal, because he's not going to overshadow Pacioretty. He's not going to overshadow Gallagher. He's not going to overshadow Subban. He's definitely not over. I remember when Cody Hodgson was going to get traded. The analysis were saying that he was never going to get past the shadow of the Sedins and Kessler. I remember that. And Hodgson got that one good year and then sucked balls later. I mean, let's be honest here.
Anyways, I'm going to bed because I get up early because my dad is taking me and my sister driving practice in the morning.
All right, have fun.
Later.
Bye.
Night.
Bye.
All right, Stars Oiler guys.
Hola.
Yep. And speaking of Montreal, when I was going to bring that up, was Nail Yakupov. And apparently Montreal has the most interest in him. And then recently the Flyers were mentioned.
Yep. Flyers are interested in him.
I can't believe it though. I mean, what would Philly, what would Philly give up for him? Any ideas?
Let me give me a second. I posted on it earlier today. One of them was a draft pick actually. I'm not quite sure what round it was. They didn't get into it.
Because I know you said earlier that they were going to give up a second-round pick in Travis Sanheim.
Yeah, Sondheim.
Why don't they just give him someone like Thomas Konecki? Because Sanheim could be a top 6 forward in this league, unless he's a defenseman.
He is a defenseman.
He's a defenseman. Why the hell did I say forward? But you get the idea, though. But apparently, I would love to see the Buffalo Sabres get Nuge or Hall from Edmonton. But at the same time, we don't really know what's going to happen yet. But at this point forward, as this podcast is going, is that what was I going to say? Oh yeah, they Buffalo and Edmonton are talking, and Nuge is involved and Hall's involved. But Tim Murray is going to push everything he has to his limit, and he's going to make sure that he gets what he wants, because that's what he does at best. He gives up guys and gang busts them. I mean, he's done it twice. He did it to St. Louis, and he did it to Colorado. So why not do it for the hat trick?
He also did it to Winnipeg Jets.
I wouldn't say he gang busted Winnipeg. I would say give that a couple more years. I mean, from what Winnipeg got, a lot of Jet fans, and I'm not calling them out or hating on them or anything. I hate the fans still, but I have respect for the Jets, but I hate their fan base. Like, whenever people say things about Myers and Stafford, they think that Stafford was going to be better than Kane. I'm like, you're crazy. And then they were saying that
Stafford better than Patrick Kane?
No, Evander Kane. Not,
I was.
Point is, I've been to many Jets games, and Stafford and Myers are looking way incredible in the Jets uniforms right now.
Yeah, right. I mean, I love how Jet fans were like saying, haha, Evander Kane sucks because he missed one practice. I'm like, grow up. Seriously. Don't you have other things to do in your life? I mean, what has Myers and Stafford done since they got traded? Nothing.
They actually done a lot.
You sure?
Oh yeah. They made the Jets a more defensive team, stronger team.
Yeah, speak up.
This year the Jets were in the.
Yeah, could you put the mic closer to your mouth? We can't hear you, man.
Sorry.
There we go.
The Jets, they were more defensive team this year with Myers and Stafford. They played a lot more tighter. They were in almost every single game.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but I think, though, Evander Kane, even though he put up 20 goals, it's still better than what I thought. I mean, Myers, I heard, could be traded, but I think that rumor kind of died, considering that the Islanders are not trading Hamonic. So, I mean, as an Islander fan, I would love for them to get something for Hamonic, but, I mean, I didn't want him to leave. I mean, that's for sure, but I'm happy he's not. So, that's that. I mean, do you have any, does any of you have any more rumors about your team?
I'm pretty dry on my kind of rumors.
What about you, Andrew?
There's so many windows Dallas could go with. I don't even know what they could do. Their offense is good as hell. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best top offenses in the league. It's their defense and their goaltending. They got to do something with it. And I don't know where they could go with it. I think Lundqvist would be a good pickup for goaltending, but he's getting old, so they wouldn't be able to keep him for very long.
And he's 34, and he's got like 4 or 5 years left on his contract.
I heard Dallas was going to go for John Gibson or Frederick Anderson.
Freddie Anderson or John Gibson?
Yep.
John Gibson from the Ducks?
Yes, sir.
That would not.
I've actually seen that guy play live. He, when he was in the AHL, he played for the Norfolk Admirals. Because I live in Norfolk, I used to watch him play sometimes. That dude's pretty good.
It's interesting. And I've heard this rumor recently, but I don't know if it's just being me or whatever, but I heard that the Florida Panthers, when the Stanley Cup Finals ends, because the cap is going down next year to $70 million, I heard the Penguins are going to be crushed financially, and they may not have a choice but the trade of Evgeny Malkin. And from what I understand, Evgeny Malkin was mentioned in trade rumors to go to the Florida Panthers.
That would be huge. Malkin and Yager on the same team.
Wait, we can't hear you. Speak up.
So Malkin and Yager on the same team?
Oh, yeah,
Nasty.
Right. And then you would have Bobby Lou and Aaron Ekblad, and then Huberdeau. Holy shit. And Barkov.
And Yager's so old, but he's playing like he's 20.
He's not human. He's definitely not human.
Because I saw when I was looking up Gordie Howe stats earlier. Gordie Howe scored 801 goals his entire career, second best. Only person to beat him was Wayne Gretzky.
I mean,
and Jaromir Jagr is number 3 at 749, if I believe. So he's knocking on that door.
Yeah, Jaromir Jagr could easily break Gordie Howe's record. And I think, in my opinion, Jaromir Jagr will not stop playing until he breaks Gordie Howe or Wayne Gretzky's record. I mean, he's definitely not going to catch up to Gretzky because Gretzky was that good. He's an absolute legend. But he has a chance of getting to Gordie Howe at most.
He was a 20-something. He was a 20-something goal scorer this year.
He will.
Yager still has good 3 years in him.
And this year he scored 20-something goals. So if he keeps up with that pace, 20-something goals, 3 years, he will beat Gordie Howe.
I think he's going. I don't. Like I said, I don't. I mean, he may be 44, but I think he's going to stop playing at 48. He wants to play till he's 50. So if he really wants to play when he's either 50 or older, he's going to have to do all that crap. I mean, he doesn't have any real, formula of success in terms of dieting or whatever. The only thing he said in one of his interviews is that he couldn't live without his English muffins. And what's really interesting is that he consistently not only takes care of his body, but he's working out at every game, at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's training his body.
And that explains why he's playing like he's 20 years old. You said he's 44, right?
He's 44, and he's going to be 45 in January.
He could probably run a mile around me before I could take 2 steps.
He's such an unbelievable athlete. And to me, Jaromir Jagr is one of the last icons from the 90s. I think he's the only remaining player from the early 90s from that time frame since Marty Brodeur. I mean, that's probably one of the fewer people.
And I was glad that he played for Dallas a little bit because he went from Dallas to New Jersey. Then he went to the Panthers.
No, he went from Dallas to Boston, and then from Boston to New Jersey, and then from New Jersey to Florida. So that was...
He went to Boston with Erickson?
No. He was in a separate trade.
Huh. Because I thought we just gave Erickson to Boston.
No, but I remember Joe Morrow was in that trade for Erickson. Sagan went to Dallas, and then I think it was Joe Morrow, Louis Erickson, and I forget who else. It was another body was in that trade, if I remember. And if Erickson, because it sounds like he's likely leaving, I think personally he's gonna. I think the Dallas Stars win the trade because Tyler Sagan is going to be in Dallas for a very, very long time. And
I think Sagan's going to finish in Dallas. No question about it.
Why the hell would he not leave Dallas?
Would he not leave Dallas? He's a huge part of our team.
Exactly. So why give up your future? I mean, Tyler Sagan is the Dallas Stars right now, next to Jamie Benn, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like
Tyler Sagan and Jamie Benn.
I mean, it's kind of like...
I think those two guys paired together, that's the best pair in the league, no questions asked.
Are you sure? Even over Kane and Taves?
Yes.
Then how many cups have they won together?
That doesn't matter.
It kind of does. I mean,
speaking about Dallas, where do you think Goligoski's going to be going?
Only one way to find out.
Goligoski, I mean... I like to think he's good, but sometimes when I see goal scored and where he's at on the ice, I'm like, where the fuck were you?
I mean,
That was almost like me and Justin Schultz. Well, never mind. Justin Schultz always turned over the puck and gave the other team the goal.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that about Mark Pezic. Like, I sometimes think that he's a turnover machine, but he's a good power play quarterback. But
Like I've heard so many rumors about Dallas. I don't even know what to stick with. Like I've heard Goligoski could go, Vernon Fiddler could go, Jordy Ben, Jamie Ben's brother could go, and I'm like, why would you split up the brothers? I mean, Jordy Ben's not the fuck up there.
I mean,
Goligoski, so many goals have been scored on the ice when Goligoski is out of place.
yeah, right. And then for me, I've heard the most recent rumors I've heard was Buffalo and Edmonton, and I've been hearing this rumor for quite some time now. And it's amazing that Buffalo and Edmonton are still talking, and I think they're going to continue to talk until that very moment they make the trade. And I'm going to stick by that no matter what. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. What about you, Jordan? Jordan? I think we lost him, man.
Sorry, could you repeat?
Yeah, I asked you, we were asking about rumors. Like, have you heard anything from that, or besides the Buffalo rumors, or anything else particular before we go?
Last time I heard was Edmonton doubting that the Buffalo Sabres could pry the fourth overall from them.
I could see them getting the fourth overall. I can honestly see it happening. But like I said earlier, in the end of the video, towards the middle of the video when we were talking about it, I said if Buffalo does make the trade with Edmonton regarding the first overall picks, they're gonna take Alex Nylander with the fourth overall, and at least leaves Edmonton to take maybe Jake Bean or another defenseman available in that draft. So, does anybody have any last minute comments before we close off the show?
Negatory.
Negative.
Negative.
I'd say negative too. So sorry if this was a little overboard, but I truly appreciate you guys listening to us tonight. And I know we kind of had a little bit of a delay, and I appreciate you too. We had a little bit of a delay with the sound because we had two admins on here earlier. We were doing a pre-recording and they were doing a concert, and then we lost our focus. So it was much more quieter, thank God. And we got all of our focus back, and we just wanted to have a good night with the podcast. So that's that. And just to say one more time, this is your host, Boomstick, the head admin of the Buffalo Sabres. And tell us who you are one more time, Jordan.
Cooking and oil.
There you go. And what about you, Andrew?
SkyFullofStars.
There you go. And then, like I said, this is your host, Boomstick, the head admin of the Buffalo Sabres. And we'll catch you in the next one. Take care,
Later.
guys. Take care.